working with. I've shot 3 videos for them, very much in the documentary way. Like we're not like, we don't have a set, we don't have lights and people, and okay, now you're going to do this, and now that's going to happen. I'm just following them around, being cool and being a rock band, performing the song, sound checking it, maybe recording it in the studio, maybe in a rehearsal space, maybe just screwing around on the bus in the middle of the night after a few beers, and we're just singing into a beer can, and but that's good footage, you know what I mean? And their fans love that. So yeah, that's the way I do videos. So my thing is that if I'm rolling with you, you don't have to worry about doing a video, because I'm just like, I'm there, you just do your thing, I'll make a good video.
Wow.
So yeah.
Hopefully when the podcast grows, I'm going to have to see if I can keep in contact with that, because it's like, like you said, like nowadays people love videos more than anything, like, and when I study like these other podcasts, like they are on video now, like always on video, and I'm trying to gradually transfer from not just audio but also to video.
That's smart. Yeah, because people just they want to see things, and I was surprised that video took over photos as far as engagement on social media and everything. But it's true. I mean, why do you think Facebook has video? Because they looked at YouTube and like, yo, we want a piece of that. You know what I mean? That's not an accident that they added that. They did that on purpose.
And also,
why did they add it to Instagram?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And now people being more creative and actually creating shows. Like they don't have to go straight to Hulu or Netflix anymore. Like, they could just start building a brand and then hopefully get a deal from one of those platforms.
And for $100, you can buy a drone that'll follow you down the street and record the whole thing and live stream it. So, yeah, video's where it's at. So that's fine. And now my new thing, actually, that I'm really good at, I'm even teaching a class on it, a couple of classes on it later this year, is pulling still photographs from my video footage. Whoa. And I don't mean just like pausing the video and like, oh look, here's a paused video frame. I'm talking about pausing my 4K video footage using special software that's available free from Sony. It's called Catalyst Browse. Free software from Sony. You pause your 4K video, you click a button, and it hands you a 40 megabyte TIFF file that you can import into Photoshop and do anything you want to. 40 megabytes from one frame of video. So there are times now when, like as an example, I was recently on stage with Pitt. We were in Central Park at sunrise. He was performing on Good Morning America. It's a normal thing for us. He's sound checking. There's hundreds of people in the crowd. Nobody knows that this is going to happen. Nobody. Will Smith walks over. Wow. He's walking in the park with his kid in the morning. He sees Pitt on stage, walks over, comes up and hugs him. I'm rolling video, but going, man, I need a photo of this for Instagram. What am I going to do? Not a problem anymore. Because you just pause the video later, pull a frame, post it, bang, you're done. So yeah, I'm like become a hybrid photographer. That's what we're referring to us. Where I'm just shooting video the whole time, and I go back later and pull my photos.
Wow, so you actually teaching people just as the video go, you can pause it and you can grab that.
That's Blade Runner shit, man. That's like stuff that we saw in TV like 20 years ago. Like, well, that would be cool if we could do that. We'd never be able to. But yeah, you can do that now.
That's even before like Blade Runner was like 2064 or something like that. Like,
it's crazy.
That's crazy, man. So like, I know you talked about it a little bit, but like, what's the challenges as like a photographer? Like the real challenges, like
as a professional one, or just one period?
Just one period.
Well, actually, yeah, one period. Your challenge now as a photographer, videographer, image maker, actually anybody creative at all. Whether or not you want to make a living, but even more so if you want to make a living doing it. Whatever you're doing has to be two things. It has to be exemplary, and I mean exemplary. It just can't be great. Great's not. You can find hashtag great all day long. Right. It has to be exemplary. It has to stand out. It has to be different. If you're trying to bust out right now and creatively, whatever you're doing, do not try to do a better version of something that's already being done.
Right.
And again, this is not even my words. This is hanging out with Pitbull for almost a decade. Don't even find your own lane. Make your own lane. Right. His line in the sand is he's a light-skinned rapper with blue eyes, and no matter even his Grammy-winning Spanish-speaking album that came out 2 years ago, which I shot the cover of, he's still breaking into English on some of those raps there. That album's not 100% Spanish, and it never will be, and nothing. He will always be rolling his English into his Spanish and back and forth. That's his thing. He does that. And he even tells other artists to do that. He goes, you'd be 10 times more successful if you, and they don't do it because they're afraid or they don't want to, but that's, anyway, he created that lane. And look, he's like a music ambassador to the world now as far as merging cultures and having that, music is the one worldwide universal language and all those things that he says are all true. And he's right up there at the front waving that flag.
He is, because I never been there before, but the African American Museum up in D.C., where they talk about hip hop and they break it down to like the South, like like the Southern music.
Right.
Like they show Miami, and he's one of the artists. So it's true, like he really was one of the artists that broke out, especially like in the early to mid 2000s.
Yeah.
And he bridged the gap between the Latin, African American culture, Miami culture in general. Because it's a melting pot.
Yep. And by the way, side note, I've lived in New York City for 10 years. I lived in LA for 20 years. Miami, to me, definitely has more of a melting pot international city feel, where it's like a real merging of cultures now, Where New York City was that, I think, it still is in a way. It made its point there, a couple of centuries ago, though, where it was a real, line in the sand. But Miami's a very international city. I'm impressed by the feeling here. That walking down the street, you feel like you walk through 10 countries just like that.
Yeah, it's crazy how, different cultures, not even just from, the Caribbean, and not even just South America, but, it's all, all over.
Yeah.
It's amazing. When I went to L.A., I've never been to New York yet, but when I went to LA, I felt Miami is still it's more diverse than here. They have it's a lot of more Asians, Pacific Islanders out there.
Sure.
But people don't realize we have them down here too. It's amazing. I have a couple more questions. What have been your top 5 moments so far in your career? I know it's a lot.
Yeah, wow. Top 5 moments. Okay, in the order that they pop into my head, working with Marilyn Manson, because I'm a huge fan of his, actually, and always was, from the first record, first song, I don't know how many years from before I first heard it until I actually met him. It was a long time. So that was a big deal, getting to work with him, primarily because, actually, this is a funny side note. Most of my clients, my top 3 clients, Pitbull, System of a Down, and Toby Keith, all hate to be photographed. And they don't like having a camera around. They don't like being around a photographer. They can't stand any of it. So that's a nightmare challenge for me, to have to get album covers and T-shirts and tour packages and whatever from somebody that doesn't even want me there.
So you literally have to be there but not there at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole other part of my bag of tricks. Anyway, Manson, on the other hand, what was cool about working with him is he's obviously a very, very, very visual musician. His visual is a strong thing. So it was 2 visual artists working together when I was working with him, because this was a shot on film. So we weren't looking at a monitor, we were looking at Polaroids. Is the thing you used to shoot before, where you'd look at them and be okay, this looks good, now let's shoot some film. That's the way we used to take pictures professionally. Anyway, we would shoot some Polaroids, and he would look at, I like this, I don't like that. So that was cool, it was like a collaboration. Second biggest moment that I can think of, Wembley Stadium with Pitbull. Okay, that was a big deal. Just because it's Wembley Stadium, and there's 90,000 people, and But if I'm going to get all how many people, time number 3, like I said, I worked with Linkin Park from 2003 to 2009. I was their principal photographer for that time. During that time, if you'll remember, they did that album with Jay-Z, Collision Course. Okay, that also won a Grammy. I shot the package for that.
Wow.
I was there when it went down. I was there for the live concert at the Roxy, which holds 400 people. Linkin Park and Jay-Z, 400
So
people.
was you there as well when they was actually in the studio?
I was there to the whole, the blurring it, because it was like mixing those two songs together, but there were some things that they had to re-record and re-engineer because they couldn't just take the stems from the songs and put them together. Okay, so anyway, so La 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 was part of all of that. Okay, then fast forward a few months, you remember Live 8. That was in 2008. There was simultaneous concerts in major cities all around the world all at the same time. Philadelphia, I was there. Linkin Park was there. Aerosmith went on before us. 1 million people in the audience. In person, okay? There were so many people. It was on the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum where Rocky runs up the stairs in the movie. It was on those steps, okay? But like a huge stage. 1 million people. There were so many people there that they had Jumbotron TV screens with repeater speakers on delay as far as a mile from the stage so that people a mile from the stage could still watch the show and hear it. Okay, so there's 1 million people there. We're on stage. I'm with Linkin Park. All right. I know that this is going to happen, but the 1 million people do not. Guess who effing walks on stage to join them?
Who?
Jay-Z. Okay.
Do you still keep in touch with him to this day, or is it hard?
Linkin Park, yeah, sure, sure, yeah. I mean, I wasn't working. I was part of that project because I was Linkin Park's photographer. I had like no anything going on with Jay-Z. I have another cool story about that I can tell though if they have time. How long is this supposed to be, by the way? Because dude, I can talk for days.
It's fine. You like I said
you
before,
can chop it up if you want.
No,
anyway.
like I said before, you may not realize it, but you're a legend. Like you worked with so many people.
Thank you for that respect. Anyway, so I'm on. Jay-Z walks out. Anyway, that term, the roar of the crowd. Okay, when it's 1 million people roaring, your hair moves. I mean, you feel that when 1 million people go, "No way, it's Jay-Z!"
Yeah.
1 million people all talking at the same time, yelling, screaming. Anyway, so that blew everybody. That was an amazing moment. All right, so that's 3. I got 2 more to think of. The side note before that, I was in the dressing room before that concert with Linkin Park, and then Jay walks in and they start going over the music,
Yeah.
This is before everybody knew that J and B were going out. Anyway, so they're sitting there.
That was in the early stage.
Yeah. Then Beyonce walks in the dressing room, and I'm there in the dressing room with Linkin Park, Jay-Z, and Beyonce, and I've got a camera in my hand, and I'm like, wow. This is like some Woodstock shit. This is like Janis Joplin hanging out with the Doors. I mean, to a different generation. Though, these are like those people. And I was like, but you know what? I'm only Linkin Park's photographer here. I'm not Jay-Z's photographer, and Beyonce doesn't know me from shit. She's never even seen me.
Right.
I pick up that camera, and that could end my career. And so I just sat there with my camera in my lap, and nobody ever said, "Hey, Greg, take a picture of all of us." And so I didn't, and they all left, and that was that. And nobody ever afterwards said, "Oh, dude, you didn't get any pictures?" Nobody ever said that because nobody was supposed to know.
Yeah, right.
It was supposed to all on the DL at that point, and I could have ruined everything, not just their secret, but my life.
Yeah, so
anyway, but that's another point, though. You want to do what I do, you got to have mad respect for the position that you're put in. You're allowed behind the scenes, behind enemy lines. You got to not be the enemy anymore. You're there with a camera. You work for those people. You have to have mad respect for every moment that you're allowed to be in that area, and you do what you do, and you do it the right way. Because you don't think I'm at parties all the time where everybody's cell phones have to be left at the door?
Right.
That happens all the time. But I'm still walking around with my camera, and everybody knows that I might get a picture of that. But that's cool because everybody knows that I'm cool. Everybody knows that I'm not there because of something else or whatever. I can take a picture of anybody and everything, and it will never wind up anywhere that it's not supposed to be.
Right. So it's cool to be also to have these photos in a vote.
Yeah, you can't even hack me. Go ahead and try, because it's not. I don't have I'm not in the cloud. It's all. Right. It's all kept. It's all co-located on hard drives and safes, and it's not anywhere where because it has to be.
Yeah. Sometimes I always felt like sometimes because like me and my wife was at the same even like regular people we don't like certain stuff we take. We don't like to post on like social media because it's for us. The cherish and. Send it down to our kids and their great grandkids and stuff like that. So
Now, social media has been cool and it's been terrible at the same time. It's a double-edged sword. I think there's going to be some adaptations to it because people are realizing that it's actually doing mental damage to our culture. Here's something most people don't know about. Instagram is going to start hiding the number of likes that you get on your stuff.
I heard about that.
Yeah, it's true. Which is going to upset a lot of people's business models. There are a lot of people that make money specifically off of that number.
So how does that work though? Like as far as like the like system, like so.